Hi, we're Martha.
Steven.
And Mark.
And this is Nice Plays, where the Nice Games Club game devs play nice games. In this episode, Mark will be playing the action game Nioh, and we'll discuss its loot system. And so, before the yokai appear...
Let's start. So here I am. Now, we're doing something a little different this time.
Yes.
We're not starting from the beginning of a game. We are starting a little bit into a game. Why are we doing that?
We got some feedback.
From the feedback forum?
Mostly in person.
Oh.
That it's more interesting to see stuff a game that we've been through a little bit than seeing us stumble through figuring out the controls and stuff. So we have heard you, and we are changing up our format a little bit.
Yeah, we're trying something a little different.
Well, we figure, we want to know what our audience for a nice play is. And so we want to offer the best content for what that audience is. So starting a game right at the beginning is kind of interesting, but for people who know the game, it might be kind of dull. So we're going to try to get into it a little bit, and we're going to talk specifically about a mechanic in the game that we talked about on a previous episode. So, I figured out what this menu means. Why don't you tell us, Stephen, what the follow-up on this is?
Yeah, so I've been playing Nioh quite a bit. I've played it over 80 hours at this point. And you get a lot of loot. We in the previous episode, I think it's been, was it like a couple of weeks from now? We talked about loot systems in games. And I brought up Nioh a lot because this game throws a lot at you. It has a whole bunch of different, you get a bunch of armors and weapons and such. And there's a lot of stats that you have to parse through in order to figure out which is the best thing. There's an example right there. You can equip that.
Right.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, whole bunch of things.
So I played through this opening mission at the Tower of London. Very frustrating. This game is, famously hard, but that wasn't really the problem I had with it. It's that it had the most inconsistent communication on what it was trying to show you, and it frustrated me greatly. So we're going to see, now that I know how this game works and I have a good handle on the mechanics, let's see if I do a better job of engaging with it. But yeah, this loot system is okay. Every time you pick up something, if it's an equipment item, you have to go into here, find out if it's new, but the game doesn't pause, which is interesting.
Yeah, it's got it's like Dark Souls in that.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, so one thing I noticed while Mark was playing the game, he brought it up too, is that every time you get new loot, you have to go through 3 menus in order to see what loot you grab.
Yeah.
And I guess I didn't notice how inconvenient that was while I was playing, but it is quite inconvenient. Maybe a better way of going about doing that would be just showing up stats specifically about what you picked up.
And then here's all the stats. These ones are pretty self-explanatory, but some of them are really obtuse.
The translations in this game, in the text of this game, aren't the best. But yeah, there are ways to compare stats and stuff, and I think that's important in games with loot. It's very difficult to figure out what game or what thing you should pick from these things, and making it as easy as possible for players is best. Otherwise, it's hard to even engage with the loot system. Ooh. I like watching Mark play this. It's always really intense.
Picking up loot looks like it feels satisfying. It flies at you.
It should be, but the little things that fly out are not. Well, I guess some of them are the loot. Some of them go directly into you, as you saw, and some go on the ground. But when you're opening a chest, it just kind of looks like this big ball of fire.
Yeah.
And then it lands, and then you have to hit some buttons. It's not satisfying.
Oh.
It should just all go to me immediately. Or it should just land on the ground without a big flourish. And then when I pick it up, it should do a little flourishy thing.
So some of the stuff you're picking up, or some of the stuff that flies in you, that's Amrita, and that's the stuff you use to level up. The stuff that falls on the ground, those are the loot things you pick up. And not all of those things you're going to want, because
someone got here before me.
Maybe those people you killed.
Yeah, probably. Those jerks. They're dead now, though. So.
Who needs them?
Yeah. And the dead bodies light up, which is kind of funny. Oh, like that guy. Also, I've been having this hard time getting in the habit of locking onto enemies. And that's definitely a big help when when you do this.
Yeah, I think you can set it to be automatic, but yeah, the whole thing.
So you've got four
Whoa.
like loot slots that you can.
What is this?
Oh, that's so you can summon those guys, and those are people who had previously died in this area.
And I could bring them back to life for fun?
No, you can kill them and take their loot.
No.
They have better loot than what you find most
That
of the time.
was a genuine shock.
Yeah, that guy had got me the first time. But yeah, that is a system you can do. Is like if you're high enough, if you have a good enough understanding of like how your weapon works and stuff, it's advisable to like try to fight those. I don't know what they're called in the game, but they're demons you can summon, and then if you defeat them, then you can get all of the loot that they drop, and they oftentimes have better drops than what you normally get from enemies in the level you're currently in. So it's advantageous unless you can't kill them.
Salt.
It causes a lot of damage. It's pretty good.
So you can have shortcuts, it looks like here.
Yes, there's a whole bunch of different shortcuts and things.
Oh, but never mind, because when you equip them, they don't go into your thing. You need to equip them into this list.
Well,
not this list.
there's some way to swap.
What's the other?
There's two lists. There's just two lists of
But the
things you can
first
have.
list is not the first list. The first list is the second list. It's ridiculous.
What? The first list is the first list. It's just
No,
that
look,
you
because
have
look, if I guess I can't empty this somehow, but this blue D-pad there, which is what I assume the default was, actually isn't. The one I'm working with, you can see, is the yellow D-pad.
Oh yeah, you just swap them. I just don't remember how to swap.
Yeah, I don't know how to do that either.
But there is a way to swap them. I guarantee you.
At one point, you had to pick a weapon. Do you pick up different weapons in the game, or?
Yes. There are different weapons, and they all have a bunch of different stats on it too. But there's also like 7 different types of weapons.
Oof.
There's the spear that Mark has here, and then there's like a sword. There's a dual swords. There's a what's it called? Not a kunai with chain, but like there's a weapon, a ball on a chain that you can use. There's a bunch of different weapons, and they all have like different advantages and disadvantages, in addition to the different stats and things. Oof. Oh,
I hit the elixir button, but like I don't know what the timing on any of this is.
yeah.
So, well, I'm dead now, but I come back to life and have all my stuff.
Yes,
Which
you do
is-
get to keep.
Oh,
your loot.
that's nice.
It is it, but and it goes back to a save point, which means I'm all the way back down here. So boo.
Yeah.
But also, I need to re-equip all the stuff I got, and I don't remember which of it was new. So
You need
here
to
I am.
re-equip the stuff you got.
Yeah, because or do I?
No, it looks like you have it all equipped.
I have it all. Okay, never
Yeah.
mind then. That's good.
Yeah. So when you die in this game, you have to, if you can get back to where
Excuse me, fellas.
you can get back to where you had died. You get your Amrita back, and then you save it so you can use it to level up. Otherwise, you lose it if you die again before getting back to your spirit animal. I think they're spirit animal.
Wait, what? Oh, I just ran up there, so I didn't have any of that energy. Yeah, it's weird that like you have to expend energy just to swing your sword, which it doesn't feel natural for an action game to me. I'm not used to it.
Yeah. I mean, this is similar to how it is in Dark Souls.
Yeah, I guess so.
In the mod that I play in Skyrim, I talk about that all the time. But there's a it makes you, every time you swing your weapon, it also uses stamina, which is kind of nice. I kind of like it because you have to be considerate about how frequently you're blocking and attacking, and pay attention to like all aspects of combat.
Oh, you got.
Oh man!
Come on, do the thing.
Ooh.
You know, I really want to sneak up on guys. I was telling you this in the previous mission. Like, I really want to, because they don't see you until you get really, really close to them.
Yeah.
It's not very natural, actually.
Yeah.
So what I read from that as a player is, oh, I can sneak up on these guys. But you can't. You saw I run full bore towards that guy, and he was able to do the whole wind-up before I was able to get close enough to attack. And I feel like that is, I keep not learning that lesson. You know?
Yeah. Well, like I was saying before, there is a way to do it, but like you have to get the right kind of weapon or equipment. I just don't know. I've never.
Oh
done it,
yeah,
so
and
I
then
don't know
there's
the
of course you get hit once, and then you're in a corner, so there's literally nowhere you can go.
Yeah.
And you're also stunned from the hit, so it's just like, okay, I get it. The game is hard, but like if I'm predestined to lose in 15 seconds, just kill me now. Don't make me wait the 15 seconds for the other 3 swings, you know?
Well, I mean, I don't know about you, but I've survived sometimes by even after being stunned.
Some people are just better at this game.
That's not what I meant. I mean, like, sometimes I've gotten stunned and then the enemy just didn't attack or they missed their attack or something and I ended up living despite the fact that I was stunned for the 7 seconds. That's just based off a chance.
Yeah.
That's not a skill thing. But I mean, also some people are just better at this game.
Whoa.
Not saying that I'm one of those people. I was telling Mark before, when I first went through this level, it took me an hour and 30 minutes to get anywhere to the second like save point.
Yeah.
So this game is not easy, and you're actually doing pretty good, Mark.
You know, I can never really tell where their swings are gonna land. Like that guy probably should have hit me. Oh, that guy did.
Freed from this mortal coil.
Yeah, I feel like this game is hard for reasons it's not hard for reasons it thinks it's hard. That's the message I'm getting here. Is that situationally I'll be in scenarios where I'm more likely to just get murdered, and I'm like, oh, I could have just been better in that moment, but there's also lots of moments where I don't have to be that good, and it's actually super easy.
Yeah.
And it doesn't seem consistent enough. I don't know.
Are we still doing the egg timer system?
Yeah, that's right. There's only a couple minutes left, I think, before what happens, Martha?
The egg timer goes off.
That's right, and I get freed from this
mortar coil.
Yeah. I'm just not gonna hit guys.
Okay. Well, we're going through it that way.
Oh, do I have to get them? Yeah.
You have to. Ooh.
I'm doomed.
Oh.
I really should just kill them one at a time. The thing is, I get impatient. I mean, we're on a timer here, but like, I go back down to the beach, and it's like, okay, run. Like, I don't want to attack each of those guys again because they're not plot. They're just loot. And so,
well, that is the theme of this episode.
I guess so.
When you get further into the game, there's a way to like start creating your own equipment and such. And there's also
crafting. My second favorite thing.
There's also ways to like transfer some of the abilities from certain weapons you get that maybe aren't as good into weapons that are higher level.
Yeah.
And like you can start merging. And so the way that this loot system works is that like some of the loot that you gather might have like certain stats that you want from your weapon, but they won't be at the right level. You can take some of the stats from a weaker weapon and put that onto some of the newer weapons or the better weapons, and then you can get the weapon that you actually want.
Yeah.
It just takes a bit of grinding to get to that point, which is, you know, if you like the battle system in this game, then it's okay.
Yeah.
This game also has a bunch of different, like every all of the equipment.
I hate choices like this. Like,
oof.
There was one cool choice earlier before we were recording where you had to pick between 2 different shirts, I think, and one of them gave you, what was the stat called that you got more of?
Oh, human drop or something. Human equipment drop rate. Something. Yeah, that was silly. Oh, this is that thing I'm supposedly proficient in. It's got range, and I like range.
Yeah, that's the ball and chain.
Okay. Which is the button to change my thing? Nope, it's that one. There we go. All right. All right, well, let's see how that works.
Yeah. This battle system also has a bunch of different stances you can use. So, like the Mark right now is in the medium stance. There's also a light and a heavy stance, which gives you... that's a heavy one, yeah.
Yep.
Where you deal a lot more damage, but your attacks are slower.
And it's impossible to hit a guy.
And then there's also the light stance where you attack much more quickly and they take less energy and you can dodge more. But like it's also, you don't deal a lot of damage in this stance, so it's a safer stance. But
you know, it's funny because like there's so many numbers, but it's really 1-2 kill. Because every time you get more armor, you immediately encounter enemies who can kill you. It just scales naturally. So it seems kind of silly to have all those numbers.
The numbers are more beneficial for the player in attacking enemies than they are for the enemies attacking players. But like, I feel like in a loot system, it's helpful for me to see what numbers you're dealing damage in, because otherwise it's hard to know if you're actually getting better by grabbing or using the loot that you're using.
Yeah.
So I'm of two minds in that.
Yeah. It's like the game is designed where it really 2 hits kill you, and that's not a bad. It's a good system. But because I have like 1 million hit points, I like at what point should it? Oh, that other guy's chasing me. Yeah, like if it just 2 hits kill me, then the goal is just to never get hit, and that's great. I like that system.
Yeah.
But then why give me 1 million hit points? Like, what's the point of that?
Yeah. Well, if you come back after you've gone through a whole bunch of these enemies barely do any damage to you, so there's that.
What's the bird there?
That's
where I
spirit
died.
animal.
Yeah.
Does it give you
drops when die.
anything?
Now he's got a friend to play with.
It gives you back the Amrita that you had dropped.
Oh, okay. So it's you loot your corpse there.
So, yeah, but
mechanically that might make sense, but like narratively that's ridiculous because you get to keep all of your things you pick off the ground, but your soul energy doesn't carry with you to the next life.
Yeah,
like that's so stupid.
So there's, I don't really understand.
Defend their choices, Steven.
I don't understand a lot of the narrative decisions in this game.
I gotta go back to my
I wasn't paying
spear.
attention to it a lot, but so what happens is like you'll drop your spirit animal or whatever it's called, and you lose like the ability to use your living weapon ability, and that gives you like super boost for a few seconds while you're attacking enemies. And also each spirit animal has they have different stat bonuses as well. So I can't remember the stat bonuses for the bird specifically, but like I remember I had a bull that like gave me extra health. So if I lost that bull, then I would have less health for that period of time until I got it back. Whoop.
Yeah, I'm trying to. You really just have to. Oh, thank God. All right, well, that's the end of that. So this is the thing is you seem to make some progress, and then you just hit a wall, and then it's just that wall, and it's not the worst thing in the world to have a game that is just like so punishing that way. But the problem is that it teases you. It's like you can make progress. Never mind. And then you struggle. Then you get over that part, and then you make a lot of quick progress, and then you feel like, okay, I'm getting the hang of it. Never mind. Because everything scales with you. As you get better, as your stats get better, the enemies get better. So the experience is identical, like all the way through. At least I've not played a lot of this game, but that big Tower of London mission where you start out in your underwear, I feel just as vulnerable as later when you get the plate armor and face the boss. I feel like 2 hits will always kill me, no matter what, because situationally I always have the armor I need to be against the enemies who will, you know what I mean? Like that's the experience I've got. Maybe there's not enough variety in these early levels, but the loot it doesn't seem to scale. It doesn't seem to scale with me.
So I think part of it is like you are introduced to new enemies, and they have different attack patterns and stuff that you're not used to. At least I had a hard time with that when I first started. Yeah. Every time I met a new enemy, I was like, I don't know how to deal with it, and then I just die. But with previous enemies that you faced in the past, you start to get a handle on how to deal with them, and so like they're almost fodder when you get closer to the end of the game. Yeah,
like those 2 guys who kept killing me there by the campfire, they had different weapons, right. And there's you would take different approaches to each of them.
Yep.
The problem is like, and maybe it's me being impatient. That's probably a lot of it. I'm not able to learn each guy's deal, and once I do, then I can better approach them. But the process of learning is such a slog. And not rewarding in any way. It would be rewarding like 7 levels from now when I face 6 of those guys and know exactly what to do. But getting there is kind of ridiculous. At least it's feeling that way so far. But I will say, like, the loot system is not as bad as I thought it was going to be.
Well, when you were playing it before, when you were playing it earlier, you seemed to be excited whenever you picked up anything new.
Well, mostly because it was a bunch of furry hats. Because you were escaping the Tower of London and everyone had a furry hat. So I got a couple of those, and that felt pretty good. But Martha, you're into loot. Like, does that seem okay? Like, how does that compare to other systems? Because I'm not a really good judge, because I sort of hate all of it.
I mean, it seemed cool. I think I wouldn't play this game just because the aesthetic is not my thing.
Sure.
But I liked how many, like, when you were comparing your loot to each other, like it seemed like they had a lot of good information, and it was cool that even though you were dying all the time, you got to keep your loot. So just watching it felt like you were getting better just because you had more stuff to work with.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Except for when I threw all my stones.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, there wasn't any in this level, but in the Tower of London, you find rocks and you can throw them. And so when I faced the boss at the end of that level, I was just throwing some rocks and they do a little damage, but it's hilarious. And then you die, and then you don't get your rocks back. So you end up with less loot the second time you go through.
Yeah, you end up with less consumables.
Which is sort of silly, but yeah, well, that's Nioh. I mean, it's definitely not the game. I do really like third-person action games, but this one just like hit all the wrong buttons for me. Even though there were parts of it I did like, it just seemed like the problem really is. I'd like to think, and I'm probably not being a very unbiased observer because there's so many of the sort of things I just don't like in games generally. But like the way that it doles out information to you is inconsistent or inaccurate or in the wrong order in a way that makes it so hard for me to get into it. I feel like this game is for people who love this genre, who like loved Dark Souls and are into that, so they don't need to be brought on board. But for people like me who need to be brought on board, this game like gave no thought to that at all. And that's kind of frustrating.
Well, I didn't play Dark Souls a lot because it's too scary for me. But I really got into this game, and so I guess I wouldn't call myself a Dark Souls fan. But I've played over 80 hours of this. So
yeah. Okay.
It pulled me in.
All right. Well, that's good then.
Yeah. I think it's just it just depends on the kind of game you're looking for.
Yeah.
And I definitely see that like some of the things in this game are frustrating and difficult to deal with, and they're just not. It's not necessarily for everybody, but that happens sometimes.
Yeah.
Your game just isn't always going to be for everybody.
Thanks for watching. Nice Plays is just one part of our game dev program, Nice Games Club, which, if you're nice, you can subscribe to on YouTube as well as wherever you get your podcasts. Be sure to follow us on Twitter and all the other things at Nice Games Club. And if you want to know more about the show or your nice hosts, you can do that at nicegames.club.
So, until we start again, remember to
Play nice
And make nice.